The two performers have worked together on three feature films: This Boy's Life in 1993 and Marvin's Room in 1996. Killers of the Flower Moon is the third. Looking back on his 30-year collaboration with Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio is thinking. During a panel on Sunday, the 49-year-old actor discussed how his and De Niro's character's connection is somewhat similar to that of their roles in the 1993 film This Boy's Life. The panel included Lily Gladstone, who co-starred with him in Killers of the Flower Moon. It so happened that I played an abusive stepfather in De Niro in the movie This Boy's Life. After the movie's Hollywood, California screening, DiCaprio and Gladstone 37 had a Q&A session. So it was this insanely coincidental, full circle, sort of similar relationship, DiCaprio said. It seemed like I was entering the same or a comparable role 30 years later, fully matured, the Oscar winner went on. De Niro continued to portray this abusive figure. The violent stepfather was him. Of the character he played in Killers of the Flower Moon, said DiCaprio, developing Ernest was interesting because out of all the stuff that I researched, all his writings, all the testimony, speaking to relatives in Oklahoma, the one resounding consistent element was that this man was quite slow and easily manipulated, that De Niro's character Hale had this mental stronghold over him. Speaking on his reverence for the dual relationship between actor and filmmaker, he shared growing up in Los Angeles with director Martin Scorsese and actor Robert De Niro. DiCaprio described it as being on the uppermost tier of echelons for young actors. When we were younger, that was all we talked about, the actor added. I was fortunate enough to work with Mr. De Niro on This Boy's Life for the first time, and after that, he introduced me to Marty by saying, "This is this kid. I just worked with him." After completing, 6 films with Scorsese thus far? That kind of thing? And then 30 years later now, getting to work with both of them, my two sort of cinematic heroes, and creating this entire story and narrative in these characters was, needless to say, one of the highlights of my entire career and life, he said. Killers of the Flower Moon is the first picture that Scorsese, 81, has starred in with De Niro and DiCaprio together. But they also had an appearance together in Marvin's Room, which came out in 1996, 3 years after This Boy's Life. Further, DiCaprio talked about how different the working dynamic between longtime collaborators De Niro and Scorsese is from his own with the director, and how fascinating it was to observe their process. Marty and I share a unique kind of bond. We discuss topics at considerable length and in great detail. Things are thrown out by us. Scorsese and De Niro possess an almost innate bond that is difficult to articulate, he clarified. One sequence in Killers of the Flower Moon that starred him and Robert De Niro was described by the actor as mesmerizing, highlighting how Scorsese's work wanted it to be as real as possible. I've never seen him more completely obsessed with getting to the truth of a story, stated DiCaprio. He really wanted to convey the narrative the right way. Particularly after visiting the Osage people and sharing this lost piece of their history, he felt an immense duty. Currently showing in theaters is Killers of the Flower Moon.